After decades of waiting, He-Man has finally returned to the big screen, and the result is a massive, hyper-aware spectacle. After 40 years of development hell and a string of failed studio attempts, Amazon MGM finally pushed this project across the finish line with a staggering $200 million budget. They handed the reins to director Travis Knight, who has a specific track record of taking legacy 1980s media and updating it for modern audiences, like he did with Bumblebee. But the critical consensus has landed right in the middle, currently sitting at a mediocre 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. The reviews highlight two distinct experiences. Half the audience sees a joyful, neon-soaked nostalgia trip. The other half describes a bloated, feature-length parody. So if you're standing at the box office, you face a dilemma. Does your ticket buy you an epic high fantasy battle or a 2-hour internet meme? The filmmakers packed in so much heavy fan service that your reaction is going to depend entirely on what you want from this franchise. We are going to deconstruct the film's Easter eggs, cameos, and deep lore. By the end, you'll know exactly which of these viewer profiles you fit into and whether this specific brand of camp is worth your time. Let's start with Travis Knight's visual approach. Instead of updating the aesthetic for 2026, he meticulously recreated the original 1980s action figures. You see this in the physical details. Teela wears the exact asymmetrical shoulder pads from her plastic mold, and characters like Trapjaw rely on bulky, practical prosthetics. For hardcore toy collectors, the payoff is immediate. The visual fidelity to the Mattel line is staggering. However, translating 1980s plastic directly into live action yields undeniable absurdity. You wind up with grown adults fighting for the universe while wearing Zardoz-style loincloths. Because the costumes are inherently silly, the script has to acknowledge them. The writers lean heavily into a self-aware, sitcom-level comedy tone just to make the visuals function on screen. At one point, the script literally explains that Ram Man and Fisto aren't ancient Eternian titles, they are just dumb nicknames Prince Adam made up as a child. That winking humor gets laughs, but it actively undercuts the dramatic tension during the major battle sequences. By choosing absolute visual accuracy over grounded realism, the film sacrifices its ability to deliver serious, high fantasy stakes. Beyond the costumes, the movie is incredibly dense with background Easter eggs and meta-jokes. This starts before the opening credits. Amazon actually replaced the traditional MGM lion logo with He-Man's roaring tiger, Cringer. Then you get hyper-specific background props. In a collectible scene, you can spot 1970s Big Jim action figures sitting on the shelves. They even include rival 80s franchise toys, like Thundercats, existing as physical objects within the movie's universe. The references carry straight over into the audio. The soundtrack relies on a booming, synth-heavy 80s score to set the tone. They brought in Queen's Brian May to provide the epic electric guitar shredding you hear throughout the film. Then, in the middle of a massive fight scene, they drop the Four Non-Blondes track, What's Up? That specific song choice exists for one reason, to reference a famous viral YouTube meme from the 2010s. If you are an internet-savvy fan, this stream of inside jokes provides constant point-at-the-screen moments of joy. The trade-off here is the runtime. Packing all these references in balloons the movie to 142 minutes. That risks pacing exhaustion for casual viewers who miss the punchlines. The film also tackles legacy characters in a unique way, specifically evolving the obligatory franchise cameo. Bose Lundgren, the star of the critically panned 1987 Masters of the Universe film, makes an appearance. He isn't relegated to a background extra. He shows up as an active gym mentor to the new Prince Adam. Lundgren delivers a highly meta piece of dialogue, telling Adam, "The muscles don't make the man, kid," explicitly dismantling 80s hypermasculinity in favor of emotional intelligence. It's a touching moment, but breaking the fourth wall like this halts the actual narrative momentum to deliver a winking lesson directly to the audience. This heavy lifting continues right through the end of the film, with a massive 3-part post-credit sequence. We get a retro cartoon moral from Orko, the reveal of She-Ra's Sword of Protection, and a 1987-style homage with Skeletor's surviving head. While this expertly sets up the Mattel cinematic universe and backloads the most anticipated characters, fans are forced to endure the bloated runtime just to get to the real lore expansion. Travis Knight did not adapt the serious lore of Eternia. He adapted the experience of playing with action figures on your bedroom floor. Let's map your expectations to these trade-offs. Lore collectors looking for a Ragnarok-style spoof and deep-cut nostalgia? The ticket yields a massive return. Earnest fantasy buffs expecting a dark, Lord of the Rings-style epic? The trade-offs are too steep. Skip it. Parents, approach with caution. The film's 12A rating is earned. The script weaves in adult double entendres and sex jokes that may not be appropriate for younger kids. Ultimately, the payoff relies entirely on your tolerance for a 142-minute runtime built on self-aware camp. Masters of the Universe succeeds wildly for its niche audience, provided you know exactly which audience you belong to before entering the theater.